let's talk about EVO 2018. So I'm just going to talk about pretty much everything that's relevant, how I felt, my feelings, if I have them, how I felt going into EVO. Obviously it's EVO, and for years now, EVO is always really important to me. I guess this is important to everyone, right? But like, I really do think of EVO as like the biggest tournament, pretty much. Definitely practiced a lot, played a lot with Mewtwo King. Going into EVO, I felt fine. It's always great going to Las Vegas and just being there. Yeah, I think going to EVO, like, I had a controller I've been working on for a while. It wasn't necessarily ready, but it was like very close to being ready. And then when I got to EVO, like, I was playing with it more, and like I kind of realized one of the things about it got worse. So I basically spent the whole day before EVO just scrambling around trying to fix the controller problem. I talked to Nez a lot. I went to his hotel room. He literally helped me. I made a tweet about it. He pretty much saved my controller. It turned out, even though he did save pretty much all the problems, there was one problem that kind of came back day one. Luckily I got through my pool, but then he fixed that, and then even after that it was still another problem. So that's mainly for you. Vanilla controller is always messing up, so I was just worried about my controller, so I felt like that kind of made me play a bit worse than usual, but I ended up kind of getting around it, and my controller was like good enough. Obviously I got top 5, so it wasn't perfect, but it was like good enough, I guess, to do good. Because of that, it probably would have been harder to win the tournament, but it wasn't like awful. Thanks to my stream and the donation goal, I raised like $1,300. That was my goal. I ended up raising $1,500 for my hotel and pretty much my trip to EVO. It would have been very, very hard to go to EVO without getting this donation goal, or at the very least, I would have been like completely broke after EVO or something.
Still a huge deficit right now for this dude. He's gonna have to play perfectly, and that's it. Wizzy, winner's quarters, taking on his Floridian homie Luck. Mother.
Oh, he reads the roll. Wizzy reading rolls?
I've been doing good versus ice climbers, but I haven't fought Nintendo in tournament. I hadn't fought Nintendo in tournament for like, I think it was like a year and a half or something. Like last time I had fought him in tournament was like not last big house, I think, but it was like the big house before. So it was like pretty much like 2 years ago or something. I mean, I figured it wouldn't really matter because I got way better versus ice climbers, but he technically beat me then. And then I had a big losers run where I made like top 8 at like that big house. I don't remember what number it is because we're just, big house is on such a high number now. I lost to Nintendo. I got sent to losers. I had a long losers run that year, like 2 years ago. But that was like the last Nintendo. And so that was so long ago, it doesn't really matter, but I was thinking about that, like maybe his ice climber style would be harder, but I ended up playing him and it was fine. My improvements in the ice climber matchup just kind of showed, because I ended up taking the first game. Second game he went Marth, which I figured was good for me. I know he's been working on a Marth, so I feel like I kind of solidly took game 1, so he probably figured like that he might as well try the Marth. I just ended up taking the set, and then I ended up fighting Plup. So fighting Plup, I took the first game. I ended up losing game 2 and 3 because Plup's punish game was very good. I feel like that was one of the big things. He just has a very good punish game. He had a good read on my techs, among a bunch of other things, obviously. But it was 1-2, so it wasn't bad. But obviously, there were times where I was close to taking it. But so Plup sent me to losers. I thought I was gonna like fight someone else, but I guess all I had to do was fight none, and then that if I beat him, I would make top 8. And so I felt like I started practicing Falcon Dittos with Gatsu, help refresh my mind in the matchup, and I just knew if I played good enough, as long as I didn't like play bad, I could probably take it. There's a little bit of choking, but for the most part, I played pretty fine, pretty good, and so I ended up taking the set, and then I made it into like an EVO top 8, which is really insane for me. I really want to talk about this because the way it felt to make top 8 at EVO was like a dream come true. Even though, like, I said this in my tweet, I'm no stranger to top 8s, but making top 8 at EVO, just like previous years not making it and sitting there and watching the stage and how prestigious and awesome it looked, like, EVO's really like that stage where you watch and you're like, man, I want to be up there. And I consistently had been getting jammed at EVOs like every year. Like 2013 was when I was first getting good. So I wasn't seeded yet properly. So I ended up like barely not making it out of my pool, like 3rd seed barely. And then next year I didn't go. That was the only EVO I missed, 2014. 2015, I got food poisoning like the day before the tournament. And so that night, like the night before the tournament, I was literally throwing up and like I was super sick. Even the next day when waking up, and I was just like awful. I ended up like missing like my Smash 4 pools and stuff that day, but then I just did only melee singles. I felt okay enough to the 2015 to play my melee singles. I just played really bad because of my sickness, and it just sucked that year. And then I don't remember what happened like 2016. Oh, I think 2016 what happened was I lost to Chillin' Dude. That was like, and I was projected to play Hungry Box, and that was like the first time I beat him. It was like shortly after What the Fox. I was going to fight him at EVO. And I lost to Chillin' Dude, and I felt like playing super late at night, like at 11 p.m., combined with the fact that I was used to East Coast time, just made it really hard to play with the jet lag and whatnot. So, like, and then last year I didn't really have any, like, things stopping me. I just didn't play good enough, I guess. Just wasn't playing up to it. Nothing really messing me up there except myself, just playing not good enough. Either way, like my best placing out of EVO was like a 13th at 2017, I'm pretty sure. And like I had been consistently having something go wrong every year for EVO, and then this year I finally like broke this like curse, I'll call it, and like made top 8 at EVO. So even though like even in 2017 I'd literally gotten top 8 at a ton of nationals leading up to EVO, and then EVO came and yet again I underperformed because for whatever reason, you know. And then this year I was just so glad I made top 8. Like, even though it wasn't over yet at that point, I still had a long way to go to hopefully win or at least do very good. it was just like a dream come true to even make top 8. So I was just glad I even got to that point and like broke this like curse in my head or whatever. That was a huge deal for me. So
Gives probably the best reaction deck chase out of pretty much anybody.
Top 8 itself was the next day, obviously. Everything was best of 3. Everything's been best of 3, and I felt like best of 3 could be good because you get a ban if there's like a stage you really don't like, but obviously for the most part, best of 5 is better. I don't feel like I really got messed up by best of 3 that bad. Like, I don't really recall a moment in the tournament where I was just like, man, if only this was best of 5. But I mean, I usually don't really think like that anyway, I guess. But I felt okay about it. I kind of forgot sometimes. Like, sometimes I'd play a set and then realize, like, oh yeah, it's best of 3. Like, I keep thinking it's best of 5 because I'm so used to it. Whenever you fight a good player, it's always best of 5 by that time. Obviously, best of 5 is much preferred, but I was like, I could deal with it, you know? Like, I felt like pretty much my losses, like, were more just me messing up than the fact that it was a best of 3. Obviously, best of 5 could have helped me because I was down 2-1 versus both Plup and H-Box, but, like, for the most part, like, I felt like best of 3 didn't necessarily mess me up that much. It was more of just, I just wasn't playing good enough. I got close at times, but it just wasn't good enough. So I was okay with it. Obviously, best of 5 is preferred, but can only do so much. The cool thing about best of 3, I guess, was top 8 kind of felt like a speed run. Like, we would, like, literally, like, it wasn't really a good thing, but we'd literally, like, play a set and then play a quick best of 3 and then get off the stage, and then like we'd be in like the warm-up room or whatever, and then there'd be like the TV, and then like the frame or like right as the same set was about to end, we would be like told, all right, time to go. And like we didn't get so because of that we didn't really get enough warm-up compared to usual top 8s, but like top 8 kind of felt like almost like not a real top 8. It felt like a speedrun top 8. I don't know. It was just like so quick. It was like weird. It was like cool and bad and weird. I don't know. The fact that it ran by kind of fast was a little bit interesting to me. I don't know. I was just interested by that. But obviously the best of 5 is preferred and whatnot. But obviously in the top 8, I fought Swedish first. I knew fighting Swedish was like I had like one of the better matchups in top 8 compared to fighting like Armada or being in winners, having to fight one of them. And so I was like, okay, I probably have a good shot at winning this. So me and Swedish, I could tell we were both kind of cold, both kind of nervous, and I ended up taking the set. And then I fought Hungry Box, which I was really hoping to win that, but I felt like the EVO stage, being on there for the first time, I was a little bit more nervous than I usually was, so that definitely like played a part. I did really like my losers bracket though, so I do feel like if I beat H-Box, I could have had a good matchup versus Armada, because obviously I'd rather fight Armada than someone like Mango. So I was like hoping I would beat H-Box because of that reason as well. But 5th was overall, it was fine. So it was just awesome. Leffen won the tournament, which was usually I don't really care who wins that much, but Leffen was kind of cool seeing him win because, you know, someone new. If it's not someone like Plup who hasn't won an EVO before, who I'd like to see win, it's like probably my favorite Fox to watch, and he's good to learn from. So that was, and he played like very dominant, so that's what I like to see when someone wins a lot of times. So that was cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was honestly a good tournament for me. Like I said, I got 5th. That was pretty good. I can't really complain too much. So, I don't know. EVO's crazy. But we'll see what happens next year. We'll see if Melee's still there. We'll see if Ultimate's probably going to be there. We'll see what happens. I'm just excited to see what happens, and I'm glad this EVO went pretty well. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later.